rich film collector hires a cinema owner to track down the last remaining copy of Les Fins Absolus du Monde, a movie that was only screened once, where everyone in the theater went insane.
Cigarette burns.
So this was from Season 1, Episode 8 of the Masters of Horror series from back in 2005, when it debuted originally. It was a pretty cool series and a pretty exciting time, I remember. So there were 26 episodes, all an hour long, divided up into 2 seasons. The series was the idea of director Mick Garris and was originally shown on the Showtime cable TV channel. And the coolest part about it was that every episode was directed by classic horror directors like Don Coscarelli, Stuart Gordon, Tobe Hooper, Dario Argento, John Carpenter, and a lot more. Hence the name Masters of Horror. Now, some are better than others, of course, as you would imagine, and I haven't seen them all yet, but I have a few favorites so far. This is my first time reviewing any of them, but it's really honestly put me in the mood to watch them all. So I'm gonna try and see if I can maybe go through the entire series this time. And Cigarette Burns was directed by John Carpenter and stars Norman Reedus and Udo Kier, and is generally considered, by and large, the best of the series. And I'd probably agree, or at least put it in my top 3, along with Jennifer, directed by Dario Argento, and Imprint from Takashi Miike. But like I said, I haven't seen them all yet, so I guess I can't really say for sure, but those are 3 that I really, really like. So this film centers around Kirby, played by Norman Reedus. Kirby has had a rough go of things lately, to say the least. He and his girlfriend Annie were heroin addicts. They eventually found an old movie theater for sale, and Annie's father loaned them money to fix it up. And this new ambition actually helped Kirby get out of the mess he was in, but just as things were looking up for him, Annie took her own life. Devastated from his loss and, dealing with Annie's father hounding him for the money owed, Kirby is approached by Bellinger, played by B-movie legend Udo Kier. Bellinger is a film fanatic and collector and a very wealthy man. For years, he's been trying to track down the elusive film known as Les Fins Absolus du Monde. He makes Kirby an offer if he can find this film for him. Kirby needs the money to pay back Annie's father, of course, so he kind of hesitantly agrees to take on the job. Now, I gotta say, how he came to know about Kirby, or how he thinks Kirby has the ability to track this thing down, it is pretty unclear. That said, we have to remember that these Masters of Horror movies are only an hour long, so I think looking past things like this is okay. So, Kirby does what you do in movies of the modern era. He starts with the internet. He finds people that have knowledge of the film, starting with a quirky film critic. From there, he digs deeper and deeper until he is, past the point of no return. My first thought as I was watching this was how it didn't really feel all that much like a John Carpenter film. I don't mean that in a bad way. It could partially be due to the cinematographer being someone he had never worked with before. I think that's a big part of it, but even despite that. I've seen people compare this to In the Mouth of Madness, but I don't really see it. I could kind of see this being an H.P. Lovecraft story, though, which is cool. For me personally, better comparisons would be like The Ninth Gate and 8mm. So I felt pretty at home watching this, and it has so many things that I love and really I live for. It's got John Carpenter, movie theaters, crazy obscure horror movies, and a film-obsessed projectionist who loves Dario Argento. Back in the early 2000s, I actually worked at a movie theater, and I will forever have a soft spot for them. Especially back in the days of film reels and old-school projection equipment. Sadly, all that is mostly gone now. I liked the atmosphere here. It kind of has that detective mystery vibe, where the deeper you go, the darker things get. And there's a few scenes of some actually pretty shocking gore that I appreciated, and the scenes you got to see of the film Kirby is looking for are pretty creepy, really. It would have been cool to see more, but that of course wasn't really the point. And I've never been a huge fan of Norman Reedus, but I also never disliked him. He kind of always seems to play the same character, but he also pulls it off, so I'm not complaining. Udo Kier here is also very much Udo Kier, which is perfect for his character, honestly. And there's another character that I didn't mention because I don't know who or what he is. He definitely isn't human. So that part is really just kind of left to your imagination, and I'm okay with that, We don't always need all the answers. Sometimes it's just better that way. I'm giving Cigarette Burns a 6.5 out of 10. It would have made a cool feature length, but, it makes great use of its 1 hour runtime, and that's all we can ask for here. And again, I'm excited to go through this series and watch all the episodes that I missed the first time around. Which ones are your favorites? Let me know. Cheers, guys.